welcome to the Man United show. We are live. And as you can see, we have a jam-packed show tonight. We have German football expert Marie on, as you know from Marie's Bundesliga minutes. You got a lot of fans in here already, Marie. We have Hakeem. Yeah. He looks a lot happier today. Yeah? All right, we'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath on that. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host, Nathan Ellington. How you doing, Nathan?
I'm good. I'm fantastic, to be fair.
That's good. All right, it's a big smile on your face. And anyone who's joining us today, get your questions in. We've got a couple of experts on today. We've got Marie, of course, and we've got Alan on in a bit, who will be telling us about a little bit more in depth about Ralf Rangnick, as he's worked with him at Lokomotiv Moscow. But Marie, I've got you on because the Man United fans want to know what to expect from Ralf Rangnick.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say congratulations. It is not an appointment I expected at all. I think it's a brave appointment. Mm-hmm. I expected him to go to some place like Newcastle United or somewhere where he has a project, when United is already the biggest brand in world football. So they're taking quite a gamble because he's known for attacking football. And in some ways, he's the father of German coaches like Jurgen Klopps, Thomas Tuchel, in the sense that he's a tactician. He likes attacking football, but also he's known as the professor in Germany because he doesn't have, he didn't win any Champions League titles or anything as a player. So he was one of the first players in Germany. I'm not sure about the English league, but he was really one of the first players not to have that background. And everyone was like, why does he deserve to be up there? And he was just sensational everywhere he was. He's a fan of really beautiful football. He likes possession. He likes attack. And he really likes giving youth a chance. He's helped build up Roberto Firmino at Hoffenheim, Luis Gustavo. Then later on at Leipzig, half of the Leipzig players that he formed are now in the Premier League. It's like Naby Keita, Timo Werner, Ibrahima Konate at Liverpool now, and of course Firmino at Liverpool. He's basically shaped like half of the Liverpool team. And so he's quite the catch. He's complicated as a personality. Okay. I think there'll be the odd scandal or two. He often clashes with authority. He has the kind of opinion that he's smarter than everyone else. And the problem is that he kind of is smarter than everyone else. So no one really likes him in terms of the management, but players swear by him. Players will go into battle for him. He's a disciplinarian. He disciplined a lot of players at Leipzig and Hoffenheim, but there was never any league, never any superstars complaining about him. He's a wonderful coach. Something that's interesting that I think not a lot of people know, and will be the last thing I say. When he was at Schalke, before he went to Hoffenheim and Leipzig and helped build up those clubs, he was at Schalke in the kind of golden generation when they had Manuel Neuer, Benedikt Höwedes, Julian Draxler, Raúl Huntelaar, Jefferson Farfan. It was a really attacking team, and actually they almost made it to the Champions League final if it hadn't been for Man United winning in the semi-finals. It was 2010 or 2011 that season. And he was so exhausted because Schalke is a very emotional club. Sometimes I compare it to Newcastle United in the sense that the fans will die for the club, but the expectations are always higher than the actual potential. And he was so exhausted that he actually quit. He quit before the end of the season with a burnout syndrome. And this was 10 years ago. This was a time, soccer is still kind of unforgiving about mental health, but this was worse at the time. And people thought he could never recover from that. Not in terms of his physical health, but that no club would ever give him a chance again. And look where we are now. So I think it's a really exciting appointment, and that I'll leave it there.
All right, Marie. You can see we've got Nathan rubbing his hands. Hakeem's looks like he's about to burst.
I can tell you, Jadon Sancho is singing right now. He's going to get everything out of Jadon Sancho. And again, with the kick in the butt, he might discipline Jadon Sancho a little bit because Jadon Sancho had the odd misdemeanor at Dortmund. But I think Jadon Sancho is someone who needs that, and he's gonna whisper in his ear and give him trust, and not no more of that wingback nonsense. He's really gonna use the players like they're supposed to be used.
So you said about the youth that Man United fans should be excited about the potential of some youth being played in even if in this short spell that he's going to be in.
Yeah, I think so, and I think I think maybe not immediately, because right now you have to get United out of the crisis, and he'll use some of the older players. But there'll be some players from the academy that even United diehards haven't even heard of yet, and he'll pluck them out and play them. Perhaps over I think the first few, he's got a few hard matches to begin with, so he needs to steady the ship, and then he'll give a chance to some of those young guys. But even the stars are all still really young. Just look at the wing, look at the attack. United has such an exciting young team, but they need confidence, and I think they also need a lot of discipline. And I think for that, Rangnick is the right guy right now.
Yeah, and obviously it says there's a consultancy job after this. So I know previously in other jobs he's wanting to go upstairs as well and sort of do a bit of both. But do you see this as the perfect kind of role for him? He gets his 6 months and then he can see what he's got to work with, and then can consult Man United afterwards once the new manager's in.
Totally. That's actually, he did that at Leipzig because he really wanted Julian Nagelsmann, and Julian Nagelsmann wasn't available yet. This was when Nagelsmann was like 28 years old. I mean, just think about that.
Wow.
And Nagelsmann was basically kicking ass at Hoffenheim, and Leipzig signed Rangnick, and he really wanted to install Nagelsmann, but he wasn't available yet. So he coached Leipzig for a year. I think this was in 2016 or 17. And so he's a great coach, but I think because of that burnout, it's hard. It's hard being on the sidelines, having the media all over you after every game. He's much more of like a visionary. So he likes being close to the players and sitting on the bench, but he's much happier restructuring the academy, like signing players from obscure leagues no one's ever heard of. So he's much more a sporting director and technical director in terms of his personality, I think. He's a gifted coach, but I think it's difficult because, especially at United, that will be a true test for him, because Hoffenheim and Leipzig don't really have that many fans. There's not that much attention, and United has like 1 billion or something fans. So I really hope he wins that first game, whether it be versus Chelsea or Arsenal, but he needs to win that first game to like calm the people a bit, and then he'll do really good work, I think.
All right, Marie, that was brilliant.
Marie.
I've got people.
I want some more. I don't even want to talk right now.
Don't worry, Marie was only here for 10 minutes. I asked her for 10 minutes. I've given her 10 minutes. Okay, she's done us a favor. Marie, appreciate your time. Have a good evening. We'd love to get you on again to speak a bit more in depth about Rangnick. So thank you very much.
And I'm just like, I feel like Jadon Sancho, the Bundesliga misses him. No one tweet me that Jadon Sancho is bad. Jadon Sancho is a legend. He just needs a good coach, and he will, it takes time to adjust to a new club. And watch out for Jadon Sancho, because I think he'll really benefit from Rangnick.
Oh, the famous words from Marie. She knows. I'm excited. I don't even know why I'm excited here as well. Look what you've done, Marie.
That's what we want to hear.
If you want to catch Marie, we're going to put her Twitter handles in here during the show. So go and follow Marie, and she's very open to answering questions as well, especially about football.
I'm just seeing a message here from King Dennis, the lawman. I'll just answer that.
Yes, go for it.
It's because he's a really difficult guy to work with, and because he's kind of a smart ass. So he almost got the job at Milan. I think this was 2 years ago. Then he almost got the job at Schalke in the spring. But football is still such a hierarchical world, such a hierarchical industry where people don't really want to budge, people on top. And he's a massive threat because he goes to the club and he just cleans the shop. So that's why I'm saying it's actually so brave, and I really respect United for appointing him, because he's gonna like step on a bunch of toes. He's gonna step on Woodward's toes, the Glazers' toes. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but it's a very brave appointment.
Brilliant. That's exactly what these fans want to hear. This is what these two want to hear. 100%. Marie, once again, thank you for giving up your time. We'll speak to you soon.
Right. Happy Thanksgiving,
Thanks,
if
Marie.
anyone's celebrating.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Enjoy yourself. Oh,
Boys,
lovely.
Okay, we're going to get Alan Moore on afterwards. All right. Slow down. I can feel the excitement in the room. It's radiating right now. The comment section, get your questions in. We'll put your questions to Marie as well. You can go and ask Marie any questions you want. I'm going to put her Twitter handles in here so you can go and find her. Alan Moore will be joining us very soon. He actually worked with Ralf Rangnick at Lokomotiv Moscow, so we've got someone who actually knows him as well. Boys, what's your reaction after hearing what Marie had to say? Go on, Hakeem. Go first. Go on. We've not heard from you in a while.
Even before I heard from Marie, I was excited because obviously you do a bit of research when you hear the name. And it just seemed at last Man United have got a plan. So rather than going and getting a name, because when you go to somebody that no one knows, it means you've actually thought about it. You've actually thought about what are you planning to do? And then when you look at, Thomas Tuchel sees him as a mentor, Jurgen Klopps sees him as a mentor, as Marie said, all those players getting brought through. Exactly what we need. Somebody who's going to get them into a shape, into a philosophy, and get them to work hard. Because as Marie said, we've got phenomenal players. The player that, even if you looked at that game on was it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. What's his name? Carrick didn't do anything. All he did was say, "Right, I'm going to give you a structure," and all of a sudden, after a nervous start, they looked like they knew what they were doing. Fred was winning the ball back on 2 occasions. We score goals. Simple stuff. Just about shape, structure, getting them to do what to do, and then that's what Carrick did in one game. Now you've got an expert doing it. So I'm very, very excited, very, very excited to see somebody take hold of those players, get them working hard, get them actually structured and focused, and not allowing people like Wan-Bissaka to give Phil Foden 25 yards of space. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Bring it on.
Nathan, what's your feeling after that then?
Listen, I just wanted to hear what Maria had to say because I knew nothing about whatever his name is. Colin Kaepernick.
Ralf Rangnick.
I'm playing. But yeah, so for me, I just wanted to hear what it was about and exactly what we were needing. He's going to bring. And then when Marie said he'll bring through youth, straight away my mind just thought of Ahmad. I'd rather see Jadon Sancho and then Ahmad coming on when Jadon comes off. That kind of stuff. And I'd like to see him pluck somebody out of the youth that nobody's even thinking about, that he sees has got the techers to go in that position. The right back that we've got, maybe, you know what? I'll put him on because he can cross a ball and get forward. And he's quite good.
And he's likely to do that because, as Marie said, he's pulled these players. He likes to find players from nowhere. And the model at Salzburg and Leipzig is usually to pick up the players that all these other clubs have released or they didn't really fancy, and they see something in them. This is the guy that sets that model. This is the guy who makes sure that comes through.
It's great to hear because I love to see when someone just goes, "Listen, I'm putting this team together. I need a player that can do this. Right? Who in the whole squad, in the whole club can do it? Right? Them 3 players. Right? Who's the best of them 3? Right? You're playing." And that's what I want to see, because this is what I'm saying about this team. You're putting players in wrong positions, like you're putting square pegs in round holes at times, when we've got players that can fit the positions, but he's just too scared to drop someone. Let's drop someone now, and let's play the proper teams, and let's go for it. We can do it. We've got players to do it. Let's see what they do and what ideas they have, and how it just is so different than what we've been looking at. That's all I want to see, because then it will prove our point. What was missing is now going to be here, hopefully, and then we'll start to see some pickup in performances, probably before results, because we're probably going to struggle against Chelsea, but then against Arsenal maybe even as well. But with the players we got, I expect us to do well straight away within a few weeks, a week or so of him getting their training in. I think I expect United to pick up straight away. I think they're good enough ability to do it and to take it on board.
All right. Here's Marie's Twitter handles. That's Marie. That's Marie's page, and that is Marie Bundesliga Minutes page. And without further ado, we are joined by Alan Moore from Capital FM, Russia's only English-speaking radio station. Boom. How you doing, Alan?
Very, very good, Kieran. Really enjoyed it. I was watching off studio. Now we're in studio, and delighted to see Nathan and Hakeem as well. And Kieran, as always, I always hear your dulcet tones very often on a Sunday, but I never get to see your beautiful face. But now I can, and I'm very happy.
Well, thank you very much. You are an absolute charmer. Right? That's the Irish in him. Yeah, I can see.
We're matching up because this guy here is half Irish as well, guys. So don't let him fool you.
Yes, I am. Yes. The name is not just a fashion label. The name, it comes from heritage. So, You're about to get mobbed, Alan, because I've got Man United fans in the comment section. I've got two here that's absolutely glowing after hearing Marie's reference. So,
Al, tell us some more, Al. Tell us some more.
Alan, tell us a bit about Ralf Rangnick. What should the Man United fans expect from your insider view?
Well, glowing is probably not the best word to use.
Okay.
From someone who used to work with Red Bull. So we'll move on quickly from that. Well, I'll break it down very quickly. He came into a club that were about Lokomotiv Moscow, who I'm 14 years dealing with them, like either in a media capacity or in a work professional capacity. From working with the commercial department, working on special projects. For example, the Old Railways Cup, when we had AC Milan, Chelsea, and Sevilla all came over for a weekend tournament. It was amazing. But so, I sort of like seen what we call here in Russia inside the kitchen. And before he came in, because I was kind of a little bit outside it when he was coming in, because they kind of did a massive like purge of people, pros who you'd have heard like with us in studio on Capital and also within the club before they left. So anyway, long story short is that there was a friend, or say an associate of Roman Abramovich, was put onto the board of directors. Roman Abramovich, now this is last year during lockdown, and sort of as lockdown progressed in 2020, that he was going to be buying a stake in the club. But one of the things to do that was to make money, was to move the club from the current base in the east of Moscow, which is a very, a working class area of Moscow. Gorgeous area of Moscow. I worked out there. It was the first place I lived in Moscow, like the next metro station. Mm-hmm. So basically, Abramovich and his associate, they fronted up cash to basically get the sales rights on the whole land and so on. They did a deal to move the club to the Luzhniki Stadium. They already signed a 10-year training lease on fields there for them to train on. And basically, so that was sort of the background to it. The mayor of Moscow then, this like May, June, turned around and said, no, like, you're not as owned by Russian Railways, it's public land, it's a huge facilities, it serves the community, and that's it. But at the same time, they'd also paid a huge wage to get Rangnick in. Now, he's on, at the time, it was estimated around $3 million a year. Mm-hmm. He's paid more in Lokomotiv than any of the first team players. So wow. he came in a huge amount of money. He was opened about 30 million this summer alone in a very, very short period of time. That's only on transfer fees. The agents' fees were published and it was the same again. So, I mean, that's not too unusual. It's not a huge amount of money, but in Russian football, it was a lot. Mm-hmm. And the players he got in, they haven't been performing. I mean, they went down tonight 3-0 to Lazio. 0-0 at half-time, then they lost 3-0. At the same time, the senior players in Lokomotiv, I'll name a couple who I'm let's say personal terms, like Fyodor Smolov, the ex-Krasnodar. He also played with Celta Vigo in Spain. He's played for the Russian national team. Mm-hmm. They didn't like dealing with Rangnick because they felt that he was wrong for the club. One of the first things they did was they removed a very successful Serbian coach who'd won them the cup, who'd actually stabilized the club, who came in last year, right after lockdown, when we returned to play in 2020, a guy called Marko Nikolic. He replaced Yuri Sjoman, who's a legend, the only league-winning coach Lokomotiv I've ever known. And it was a huge scandal. But he won the fans over. He put in a very pragmatic approach, brought through young lads, wanted... And the fans, he grew on them. As soon as he was removed, Rangnick brought in a friend of his called Marko Gizdal, who had, he managed in Cologne. He's not a bad coach in any way, shape, or form, but for the level that Lokomotiv were aiming to performing in the Europa League and so on, he was very far off. And as most of the players said, he never really showed up. He never did very, very much. And Rangnick was always in the background telling what to do. So last Saturday, I was there with my little lad. They played Akhbat Grozny. Grozny, one of the worst road teams in the league. Very bad away from home. But they beat Lokomotiv, who won. Now, fairness, Loko were down to 10 men. They could have won the match. They were fairly unfortunate. However, the choice was made by Rangnick. He said it that no, we decided to rest our best players for Thursday night. And this is in a moment where Loko are in a fight to finish in the top. Well, they won't win the league. Zenit have won that already, but they'll finish in second or third. So it just
didn't go down too well.
No, and it looked bad for the fans. And when I saw, we're more than 5 years on, 5 and a few years on, in 2016 May, the last game of the season, there were just around 5,000 fans in the stadium. I remember it holds about 27,000, 5,000 fans in the stadium. The people, the fans who were protesting against the club at the time, they were set up by police. The club ordered the police to get the fans out of the stadium. It was chaos. And then it was the same night. 5,000 less in the stadium. It was a lovely timing for the match. It was a 4:30 kickoff, so it was ideal, perfect for a Saturday evening. I was there with my little fella. He's not little now; he's 12, and a couple of friends of mine who play Gaelic football with me. One was there with his two lads, and it was the atmosphere is very strange, and everyone around the club just said, he came in, promised everything, like he promised from his side, and he was promised as well, but then just nothing else has happened. So
they were left a bit underwhelmed.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that they were left whelmed; they were left underwhelmed, and it was
they were left under. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So Maria's built these two up, yeah, and you've just came in and smashed them right down.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, and I remember
right.
I also worked in Germany, and I dealt with. I mean, I knew Jurgen Klopps in Germany. I'd also dealt with Rangnick in Germany as well, because I was working with in Hessen football with Eintracht Frankfurt. So he is held in decent esteem in Germany, but he also wouldn't get a job in Germany because he's just not. I think his association with Red Bull has soured a lot of clubs, and there's too many questions about him. And it was funny because I mentioned it today. I was on TalkSport about a completely different thing. Completely different. It was about bare knuckle boxing in Russia. Don't ask. Completely different thing. And at the end of it, they just threw this thing to me. What do you think about Ralf Rangnick? This is 5 o'clock now. Be 2 o'clock your time, 5 o'clock here. And I was just in the door, and the electricity had gone out in the whole apartment. And they just said to me, "What do you think of Rangnick?" And I was like, "Oh," I said, "they don't want him. They don't need him. It's a bad signing." And I just said, "Look, he's not the right guy because." If you remember, if you look it up, there were rumors as well about Eric Stoffelshaus, who was then the sports director of Lokomotiv, ex-Schalke, he was a technical director in Canada as well. Really good guy, very good mover. Helped, basically supported Loco and got in the right players like Eder from Portugal, Jefferson Farfan from Peru. Got them in, Matsi Rivas, got them in to win the league, win the Premier League against all the odds. He was being rumored to go to United as well. Like they were like picking up, and there was big moves to try and get him. Last month, I actually said it on Capital Sports. I said Rangnick is gone. I said United are looking to get him because that's the way the rumor mill was working. And one of our lads, who's a Manchester fan, said, "Is that a good thing?" I said, "No, it's not going to be good for United." So that's my take on it. From meeting, I've met him 4 times here. So spoke with him
Well,
as well when he first arrived. So that's
after
my
this
take.
reference, for your sake, I hope you don't meet him again, Alan.
No, I mean, like, as a person, fine.
Yeah.
I found him very, very nice. I found him very approachable. We missed out on 2 interviews because our schedules clashed. So there was no he wasn't hiding from me and I wasn't ignoring it. So there wasn't like that. And I mean, usually here in Moscow, we get, any foreign player or coach who's here, especially like who are good English speakers, they're on the shoulder. So we're okay with everybody.
Yeah.
I just think that he overpromised. He basically said, what he said to me when he came in was, I kept, it could be, I plan or I aim is to create a Russian Red Bull. And that's what he said. We want a system to produce players for the club and to be sold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how about upstairs? So, after this 6 months, he's meant to be consulting. Would he be better at that job as opposed to a manager?
It depends on what you want for your club. Okay, as a neutral, I'm neutral, I'm Dundalk first of all, and then West Ham. So that's my 2 affiliations over in Ireland and the UK. So I'm on that. I'd say, yeah, he could do a good job in terms of creating a system for players to come through. What it's going to be like, I don't honestly know. He did do, no 2 ways about it. He did a very good player pathway in Red Bull. Like it wasn't just the scouting networks to the development, but he did a very, very good job. He also had a lot of close contact with people within Red Bull who will be question marks about, but that is a side issue. That's not like, what he did. He built himself a footballing pathway. He's very good at identifying players for certain positions. He does know that he has developed a very good contact network and so on. So I don't know if he's the right. Would it be enough? Does it show ambition to come in just for 6 months as a manager of let's be honest, a super club? Nathan, you've played against United. You know what they're like. It's something completely different. Something that no matter as much as you say, okay, Liverpool are a global brand and so on. United are United, and they've been like that since I remember. Even when they weren't doing that well, but they were United. That they were huge. Liverpool were always good, but United were just something different. So I think it's the question mark has to be, why would he come in for just 6 months? What's in it for him? He's given up around what? So be around just over £2 million a year contract here. Paid more than any of the top players in the club. And there's internationals in that team as well, Russian internationals and foreign internationals. That's the question I asked myself straight. Was like, why would he go there?
I would say, go on, Nathan. What would you say?
Yeah, well, I think, look, he's coming in interim to kind of see what they got, see what he's got to work with, and then he's going to probably go upstairs and then oversee how everything is. That's what it sounds to me like. He's now going to be able to say, listen, this is how it's all going to work. Like, as a long-term plan, I'm in charge of this. Hopefully Pochettino comes. He's the man who's going to bring the great football, but then he's going to oversee it all. So now you've got 2 people that are really experienced and play really good stuff, and probably obviously agreeing the type of brand of football that everyone wants to see. So for me, I'm buzzing about it. From what I've heard, I know it's kind of like 2 kind of sides to the story here, but it's to me, I'm still really, really happy because from what we were, that took us to a certain point. I think these guys can take us to the next level. I think we've already got most of the players in, so it's not a very difficult job to go and bring in your 1 or 2 or 3 players to really add and make it a fully fledged machine. I think that's what United need to be, able to destroy people with your fullbacks, able to play that central defence midfielder, and that I think everything else is there. I think it'll be cool.
I know where you're coming from, Nathan, and I think that exactly what you're saying. There's a huge amount of it is true. It is true. Everything you said is true. The one question the second question, like I said, why would you do it for that? Like, give up a job with he was on a 4-year contract with Lokomotiv. So if they wanted to fire him, he was going to get paid big time. You set for life no matter what. So he comes across, gets a 6-month job. Okay, he'll move upstairs. But that also then we saw that with David Moyes and Alex Ferguson. Ferguson hands over the reins to this young guy. 6 months later, he's gone. And there had to be a moment where Ferguson's like, lads, I'm back. And this is it is a kind of saying, like, I'm from, Kieran knows where my family are from. It's from a farming area north of Dublin. And we'd always said that you can't have 2 bulls in one field. And that's, if he gets for example, if he wins the FA Cup, if he goes on and wins Europa League, for example, that's what the interim thing sort of is wonder about. I think Pochettino. I don't know if Pochettino is going to be brilliant for the club. I think he's a fine manager. I just wonder, out of the fans expecting too much of the whole situation,
I expect him. Yeah, for me, I expect these people to get us competing with the top teams. Like, we've got the money to buy the right players. We're close enough in squad terms. You look at squads, you think, right, we're quite close. We're not quite there yet, but we're very close. And the kind of football that you will have these players playing, it will definitely get us close to them. And we were second last season. Okay, Liverpool wasn't playing their best, but we got a lot of wins. We managed to get that close then. So I think we could do better than that. So what points tally did we get? I can't remember. But if we can show improvement on that, that's great. That's all I want to see, that we're close to being up there with Man City and Liverpool, because they're way off from us right now. Way off. We need to close that gap. And if we can see that closing, I'm happy. Right now, we're going away from them, miles away. We're traveling that way while they're traveling that way. It's a nightmare. It's not like we're there and we're trying to catch them. We're going like that. So, it's got to be a positive for us.
My question, Alan, is just in terms of, he's obviously not a locomotive Moscow for a huge amount of time. But from what you've seen of him, does he have a style of play, and can he organise? Is my, because that's what I think United have been sorely missing, in terms of no one seems to know what they're doing, and all you need, I think, as an interim, is to get those people into the right positions, doing the right things. So that's to me really the key question as an interim, before we start thinking about what he's going to do afterwards.
That's the first time that I've seen or heard that being asked, that question. And it's great that we have it here, because I know you 3 guys are very, very knowledgeable about football. And no one has asked what kind of style of football has he been playing recently, because it's been turgid, it's been stale, it's not been effective. And one of the reasons why that it wasn't working here is because Russian players can't play that way. So, for example, Spartak Moscow brought in a decent coach from Portugal. He came in this past season. He wanted them to push and to break fast, push, break fast, push, break fast. It's been a disastrous season for them. Okay, they beat Napoli last night. They put it up against Leicester City, but at the same time, the Russian players themselves and the players who are brought into Russian football, they don't understand how to play like that. So that's one thing, that when he tried to do this pressing game, it didn't work. The football being played a lot of the time that he was playing it in local, was he tried to play a couple of fancy passes at the back and then lump it forward, and trying to get a big man sort of up, either left or right, and bang it to him and sort of break out and push up, and then try to push up as far as possible. So it was kind of he ended up, the last game he played, a very strange formation. He had 2 centre backs. Now remember, it's not that he played it. There's a coach sitting on the bench, Gisdol, but we know that like when his lips move, you don't see Ralf Rangnick's hand. So and it was so. I know I'm joking, but it's so serious. It's like that's where it was, or even was tonight. But he had two centre backs, two full backs who pushed up. He had then three guys in the centre of the midfield who were kind of back and forward, and then two guys kind of playing like either wide or narrow, and one man up on the top. So when the ball has been played from say the central defender, he'd bang it out wide right or wide right or wide left, and the two attacking midfielders would break out and go for the ball. Then the full backs would push up. So it was kind of a 4-3-2-1 the way he played it. It was effective against teams who tried to play football, but against a team who came out and slogged like Ahmad Grozny, it fed into them because all the crosses that they were making were from, instead of bringing the ball to the end line and crossing it back, they were banging it in from say between the penalty box and the halfway line and tried to swing these crosses in. So it was very difficult. At the same time, the Russian league was in real flex this year. I mean, CSKA Moscow, they're on a downer. Dinamo are on an upper. Zenit are running away with it, and like Sochi, who were the Zenit reserve team, they're doing very well up in third. So, they've been okay in the table this year, but not really consistent. But how he played it was this 4-3-2-1 with the two guys who were sitting in front of the three kind of like back in. They sort of like split out, go forward, and then come back in again.
All right.
I don't know how that would work with Ronaldo up top. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to have to be. He's going to have to adapt. It's going to definitely have to be something that he's going to have to work on with this team. Alan, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Massively appreciated.
Very well.
Let's do that. What have you done to them? They were flying. Literally,
I'm sorry.
I could see his legs floating when you came in.
I'm sorry.
Nathan was like that.
I've gone from floating to drowning.
I'm sorry.
Drowning in his
we got
own
another
tears.
Mourinho.
Wow. Well, this is what we call balance.
Yeah, I've given you the exact take from here.
All right.
Right, that's fine.
Right.
No problem. He's trying to do the right things with the wrong players. That's great. No problem. He's doing the right things with the right players now. All good.
All right. Alan,
All good.
Alan, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really
Thanks,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Cheers, Alan.
I'll also
Alan.
put Alan's
Thanks.
Twitter handle in here as well, so you can go and follow him and ask him some questions as well. And go and listen to his radio station on Sundays at 7 o'clock UK time. Yes, 105.3.
That's it. You got it. Capital FM. Moscow. Yeah.
Moscow.
And the best music as well. We have dad dancing all through the show.
Not with me, you don't. No dad dancing from me. All right. Appreciate your time there, Alan.
Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.
All right. Take care.
Thanks a lot, Alan. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So, guys, how you feeling now?
Well,
The good and the bad.
it's amazing how you can have two such diametrically opposed views about the same guy. It's just like unbelievable, to be honest.
Wow.
And the thing is, I don't know enough about Russian football to know what to take from it. I know a lot more about German football, so I'm not going to say I take Marie's view more, but I suppose that what Alan was saying just there was that actually what he's trying to do can't work in Russia because they don't play that sort of football. I think within the UK, you can see all the German coaches that have come to the UK have been exceptionally successful.
Yeah.
I think it's slightly different. And even though Alan obviously thinks he's crap, even he was saying he still built a fantastic pathway in terms of bringing players through. And we've got an amazing academy, and we've got some quality players. And if he slaps people like Pogba around, I'm happy.
You know what? You're damn right. But here's something to think about. When he started saying that, it made me think about Guardiola. When he first came to City, he tried to play his tiki-taka football. And he had, remember he had, was it Sagna? What's the defender came from Arsenal?
Yeah.
So he was trying to get him. He was trying to get him to play this expansive kind of football. And he was thinking, no, you can't really do what I want. And then there's a few other players in there that couldn't do exactly what he wanted to get the football to the level that he wanted. So then he just brought new players. That sounds like what he was doing in Russia, but not bought new players. He just had players that's just not good enough to do it, or don't know how to do it, don't know how to take it on board. And he's like, well, this is the football that I play. If you guys can't do it, you can't do it, but you're gonna have to do it because that's the way I play. And obviously, you can't just go and buy big players. So bring him to United. Let's let him go and do it here. He's got the players that can take on a ball. He just needs to take a look at Van der Beek and go, listen, you're playing midfield for me. You'll do for me, lad. You're playing. That's for sure.
All right. We're going to go to the comments quickly because we've got Marie from the block. Marie here again. Good vibes, untrue. The German clubs don't want Ralf Rangnick. From 2020-21, he talked to Eintracht Frankfurt, Schalke, Hertha Berlin. Rangnick choked his negotiations because he wanted too much power. And I've heard that before as well. He does want too much power. He wants it from the top to the bottom. Understandable. He's an old school kind of manager. He wants to see the youth come through the ranks. And is that such a bad thing? I don't think Man United would have kept him on for 2 years and in a consultancy role if they didn't want that there. If they didn't see that was the side of him that they potentially wanted. And they wanted a younger manager who he could work with. And I'm sure if Poch does come in at the end of the season, he would appreciate a manager who's going to bring in the players that suits his style, that he didn't get at Tottenham. I mean, look at Levy. He took Tottenham from a team who were a Europa League team to a consistent Champions League team and a team that
top performance.
Yeah, was competing for the title, Champions League finalist. And then the thank you that Levy gave him was buying one player.
I think the interesting thing from my point of view is number one, is interim. So I think that's what we have to remember. Number two, he if you look at him and Poch, or him and some of the other people, not Zidane, but some of the other people that have been mentioned, they have a similar philosophy. So if you've got like a consultant director of football with that philosophy, and you've then got a manager with that philosophy, again. Exactly. Even if they get it wrong, it still says to me, Man United are now finally thinking about the way they're trying to manage the club. And whatever you say about him, he's still more successful than Michael Carrick, Darren Fletcher, and all those boys they've won nothing and they haven't got philosophy. And I'm not saying that to slag him off, but it's just like this guy's more of a footballing man who has an identity, and he's done it at many different clubs. Notwithstanding Lokomotiv Moscow, but he actually seems to understand how to play football. And if you read what people are saying about him, and certainly what Marie was saying about him, it would appear to me that Alan is in the minority. And I don't know who's right, but Alan's certainly in the minority when you start researching about him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, like you said, it's more from a Russian perspective and what he's seen since he's gone there to Lokomotiv Moscow. And I'm sure this is a man who's been out of the game for a little while. So as another thing that was alluded to was why is he not in the job? Could it be because he burnt out before and clubs don't want a manager who could potentially burn out? And he's gone into a new job promising the world, which he would do, and he couldn't deliver because that wasn't the style of football. Marie also said, I wouldn't worry too much about the German clubs disliking Red Bull. That's more of a fan issue. Marco Rose, Jesse Marsh, Adi Hutter. Why are you doing this to me? Joachim Schneider, Marcus Klosch, GM of all the Red Bulls. I think I smashed that there. That weren't bad. And he was asking the style of play he plays. Just a second. Because there is actually something out about his style. Let's go back to here. Rangnick says,
It's high pressing, counter pressing football. I would say fast, proactive, attacking, counter attacking, counter pressing, exciting, and above all, also an entertaining style of football. Jurgen, like myself, we like to press high. And if you watched yesterday's game against Man City, especially in the first half hour, you could see that Liverpool was trying to press very high with the back four almost on the halfway line. And this is pretty similar to my approach. On the other hand, we are not big fans of square and back passes. The goalkeeper should have the fewest contacts because in every league in the world, the goalkeeper is not the best football player on the pitch. So for that very reason, he should not have the highest amount of contact. So we do not like back passes to the goalkeeper, neither do we like square passes. It's
Lovely.
All right. So
Lovely to hear.
there you go. It's high pressing, counter pressing, high impact, low impact, spin around, stand still, don't stand still, jump up and down. It's confusion as ever, but
mate,
it sounds
that
good.
is high intensity.
Now,
get in your face.
Now, young Arsenal fan, this bitterness is not becoming of you. You just stick with Arteta and everything will be all right.
Look, from everything that's said there, it sounds like Man United have got a good thing. 6 months interim.
Mate, that's what we need.
Yeah, they need, and as Hakeem said there, they've got a plan. They've finally got a plan. It was only last week that we were hearing stories about if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets a sack, there's no plan. It's potentially going to be Fletcher in the role with Carrick, and it's like, and that's meant to take them to the end of the season until you get Poch in, until you get to a manager that you actually want. Well, no, they couldn't do that.
We've done well.
They couldn't do that. So they brought in an experienced manager to take him through to the 6th month, and then that manager will then oversee. Richard Arnold coming in, who's going to be the new chief executive, isn't he? And you've essentially got yourself a director of football there to help the next manager come in, which is exactly what you need.
Yeah, and I just saw that Paul said, what did he say? He said, "What's Rangnick won?" But the point is, what's Solskjaer won and what's Carrick won. So it's not about that we try to get a manager. We're getting somebody to steady the ship for the next few months. So it's a case of actually it's Rangnick versus Carrick, not Rangnick versus Poch or Zidane or anything or Klopp. He's just in to get those players starting to play proper football and actually work. And I think the fact he's an interim, he's got nothing to worry about. He can pee everybody up because he's not. He's just thinking, I want to come in, and he's going to make it. He wants to make an impact, which is what Carrick did. To be honest, that's why Carrick was, dropped a couple of people because he's thinking, right, I can make an impact now. Because if it works, great. If it doesn't work, I'm not auditioning for the job anyway. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Who do you think will be in the biggest trouble, Nathan, when Rangnick comes in?
Well, from the sounds of it, if we're going to push up high and they're going to be halfway line, I don't know how Maguire is going to really be able to sit.
You hate him.
Yeah, he was like. Nathan's like.
I don't know how he's going to be able to do it. If we're going to push up high,
hey, Kieron,
I'm not.
Whatever question you'd ask, he'd have said Maguire.
Yeah. Who could potentially be getting the
seriously.
boot?
Okay, you tell me. Do you agree with me or disagree with me?
To be fair,
if we're going to push up high and Maguire's high, and these players want to run in behind him, what's he going to do?
Yeah, no, to be fair,
what are we going to do?
When I listened to that clip earlier, when he said he plays his players high, I was thinking, how are you going to play Maguire so high? Like, there's no way he's going to be able to do that. Mate. No, and you can't build a team around Maguire.
We will get ragged.
You can't build a team around Maguire.
We'll get.
Yeah, so he's going to go into there.
We'll let in 5-6 goals a game.
Yeah, so,
if he did that.
So don't be surprised if he goes in there and sees the pace of Maguire and goes, "Hey," and then goes for Eric Bailly.
Listen, let's sit back. Let's low block.
And Lindelof can't low block. What, low block and hit on the counter?
I'm telling you, we ain't going to go high up, are we, with him playing? Him and Lindelof at the back. You can't go high up. You're going to get rinsed every week by every team in the Prem. So what we'll have to do is go, listen, Fred McTominay, right? Or he's going to change it up and just put in Varane and Bailly. That's what he's going to do, one or the other. You can't. If you go with that and try and push on, you're going to concede. So you're going to have to change it up or sit back. Which one do you want to do? Let's see if he's brave enough to go, listen, I'm picking the team that's going to win based on my pressing formation. That's what I want to see. Because then, is he going to keep Cristiano playing? He's got to do that. Can't really take Cristiano out, can he?
I mean, is this not the undoing? Is this not the undoing of the last manager? Is it a case that you're building a team around a 37-year-old, or you're building a team that's going to win games and it's going to work as a team? Because that's what you need to do.
I think you've got to play Cristiano and rest him at times. You've got to bring him off in games. You've got to play him and get up and win and be winning and go, listen, you're ready for next game. Greenwood, now you go. Or Greenwood, you can't not start Cristiano. This is the thing. You can bring him off early in games whenever we got his goals and we're up or we're winning, we're comfortable. But we've got to get in that position. And we're not often in that position at the moment. So, again, it's tough. It's really, really tough. Because I want to see Greenwood playing up front. I want to see him doing his thing. I would love to see them two up front. And then some real balls into the box. So then whether you've got a young fullback playing, some right back that we never heard of that's going to get up that wing and cross balls as well and support Sancho. And then you've got I just can't wait to see what team he puts out. Because I'm expecting Donny to play now. I'm expecting Donny to be the first choice centre midfielder. Yeah. Like alongside the defensive midfielder. Yeah. I'm expecting
I was just about to say, so Hakeem, you expecting to see Donny play? This is a lifeline for him. Potentially could see him have a career at Man United.
I think so, because if the only midfielder, if I'm taking out Bruno and Pogba because they play higher up, if the only midfielder who can hold the ball and distribute it. So Fred, as he showed on Tuesday, can actually tackle, and when he's just tackling and giving it short, Fred's fine. McTominay's like a headless chicken, unfortunately. Exactly. He just runs around. He doesn't. I've been watching him. He doesn't really do anything. Vidic is past it. Vidic, 20 minutes, and he's good to steady out a game. But you need someone like Van der Beek with Fred and allowing the creative players, because Van der Beek is that perfect link, because he can get the ball deep, he can get it, and then release it and pass it about. So I actually think if you're talking about pressing, I think Pogba's not playing at the moment, but I think he's going to be one of the first casualties because he doesn't put in the work, does he?
Yeah, he can't.
So he can't press, and
he hasn't got the legs,
and he doesn't want to press. So I think Pogba will be a casualty. Depends how much he wants to really make a difference, because I would agree with you, Kieran, that you can't build your team around a 36, 37-year-old, but he's not here to build a team. He's here to get a mentality into the team where they start. It's not even about, because I saw Paul saying I mentioned winning. I actually didn't mention winning. That was Nathan who mentioned about the winning. I've been consistent talking about the strategy, the plan, the shape,
which is more important.
And that's more important. Because I'm not looking at that team and thinking, we're going to win something this year. We might win a cup. We might not win a cup, but we're not going to win anything.
I don't think he's coming in. I don't think he's coming in to win the league. He's not been brought in to win the league. He's not been brought in to win. I think he's brought in to stabilise this team, because you've got an inexperienced coach in there who's going to take over one of the biggest clubs in the world. And you can't go through that same motion again. You can't. You've just seen that. You just seen that with what Ollie's done. You can't do it again.
I think Paul's trolling me because he's just written, "You're right, Garth," but whatever his name, I think whatever his name is, me, has said he is
Kaepernick.
He is one more than Carrick and Ollie. So you're quite right, Paul. I don't know a huge amount about him, but I did read about him before, and he has won more than Carrick and Ollie. He's won about 3 trophies.
Yes, he won the German Polka Club, isn't it? He's won the Austrian League with Salzburg.
So there you go, Paul. I'm sure you write something else in there, but so he definitely won more than Carrick, because Carrick's never won. Has only ever won one game. He's only had one game in charge of the manager.
100% record. Don't knock it, Hakeem. 100% record win rate. Pochettino, is he the guy to take over long term after this? Is he your man, Nathan?
For me, yes. Reason why, I've seen the way Tottenham were playing, and they were playing some amazing stuff. I don't care if they didn't win anything. They got to the Champions League final. It's only because he had to put Kane back in, I think, was the reason why they lost that game. I think Son was doing absolutely amazing. They had a great kind of counter-attacking speed to them. Kane come back after being injured, and he kind of ruined the flow a bit. He needed time to get back into his flow, and obviously it's a final. He had to play him. But again, that's one step away from winning something. I don't really care about that. Has he won or has he not? Because when you look at other managers, they've won things. They came here, didn't do nothing for us. Didn't do enough for us. So at the end of the day, someone's got to start somewhere. And when you see what they're able to do with a certain bunch of lads and able to implement his exact imprint of how he wants football to be played, I know if he tries to get Man United playing that kind of football with the boys we've got, man, I remember when I was thinking, Martial, you're not really going to do well for us because Jose's got you doing all this defending. Yeah. I said, please, just go Spurs and go and kill it because you'll do really well under Poch. That was all I was thinking. He would do well under Poch because you'd have him playing a certain way of football. Yeah. And I just think he'll get the best out of the players. I just think he really will. And if they're not the right players, he'll have to go and buy players. And he'll have the money to now go and do it. It's like having Championship manager and going, right, let me just put all the money up.
You did the edit sheet, didn't you? You definitely did the edit sheet. Yeah.
Yes.
Did anyone know about the other cheat?
I put myself as 90.
Did anyone know about another cheat where the old cheat, in Champ Manager, you used to put in your bid 100 mil, and then, see, Hakeem knows. And then when it comes to the negotiations, you'll go back into the offer the fee, change that down to whatever you wanted, and then do the negotiations, glitch in the system. Good night. Yeah. Just revealing my cheats.
Back and take
back end.
Everything.
That was cheating.
All these people potential.
Nah.
Top potential.
Yeah.
Move Ronaldo to Man United.
I don't think you lot are ready for an online champ game. Football Manager 2020, 2022 with us.
What a game that was.
Game over.
Oh, what a game.
Okay, before we go, is Poch your man? Is he the one you want to take Man United forward in the future after this season?
It's a very interesting question because I've always had a doubt in my mind because managing bigger clubs is always a lot harder than managing a Tottenham. But I'd have to say, as Nathan has said, if he can get Man United playing with the same intensity and quality as Tottenham, well, we've just got better players. So we'll be better. My only concern is I look at Paris Saint-Germain and I don't get excited. They're going to win their league because it's an easy league. But I watch them and I think,
are you going to win that?
Well, I look at that and I look at PSG and I think, has he done with PSG what he did with Tottenham? Because there's certain managers who are perfect for certain type of clubs. And I think at Southampton, he was great because he hasn't got fantastic players. He can get them going. He was great at Tottenham. The question is, can he do the same thing with the likes of Cristiano, the Sanchos, people who are big names already? So that's my only question mark.
I think it's a little bit different at Man United to what it is at PSG. PSG, although they've been around for a while, they're a team that have been rejuvenated by oil money. Whereas Man United, you kind of got to go into that club and humble yourself. And if you don't, you learn very quickly that you're not bigger than the club. Whereas at PSG, I feel that there's a lot of egos in there who probably feel they are as big as the club and as big as the manager. And in no uncertain terms, anyone that goes into Man United and thinks they're bigger than the manager doesn't last long at all. And Poch will have that backing from the people above, Alex Ferguson, whoever's there, because they know the history, and you have to respect the manager who's in there at the time. So, yeah,
I think also the PSG thing is, you're right. It's a different kind of club because I think you will get the respect, and I think I'm not going to say we've got better players than PSG because some of their players are awesome, but I think our players are completely underperforming. And actually being able to come in and just get them to perform, and some of the people that he pulled out at Tottenham, if you look at Dele Alli, for example, that man was absolutely on fire until he left. And then if you look at PSG, Thomas Tuchel didn't exactly succeed there, and now look what he's doing at Chelsea. So I think PSG is like a dead zone for managers. There's not a great bit. I don't think of anyone who you look at and think, oh yeah, they were phenomenal at PSG.
Yeah, and Emery didn't do great there.
The thing is, what the question is there? PSG, they're ahead in the league by what, 11 points?
11 points.
They're winning everything.
But it feels like they're not happy.
Yet people say that they're not doing anything. It's like, what do you need? Like, do you need them to just win the Champions League every year to be perfect, like good enough? I know they've got the best three now. That's it though. When you look at it, the rest of the team's good, but it's like it's the three in it. And them three ain't working perfectly together yet. If you get what I mean, they're not. They don't look like the perfect match like you had at Barcelona, Messi, Neymar, and Suarez. That was ridiculous. You know, what Messi, Neymar?
Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah.
Maybe not that one.
It was.
Yeah. Them three were ridiculous. You know. So, but PSG ain't the same. Even though it's Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi, it's not the same yet. And he's doing well. He's doing well. He is really doing well. And I like the way they were keeping the ball against City. Obviously, it's very difficult to beat City. So they did win the first one, but they did pop the ball around very nicely. So I do like the way they keep the ball. And I was like, wow, if United can do that now.
Well, there's no way. There's no way.
I know we ain't got the players that can do that in some positions.
Well,
most of the positions.
If you look at that old Tottenham team, there's no way that you could say that Tottenham team, in terms of individual players, is better than United team. But the football they were playing for that like couple of years, you're watching them. Bloody, this is unbelievable football.
Yeah, and if you listen to the players' testimonials of Poch, they all said when he first came in, it was horrible because he makes them work like dogs because they have to have the fitness levels. Same with Southampton. Luke Shaw said it, and I'm sure I haven't read the article that Luke Shaw put out the other day because he mentioned about Poch. But there was something when he first when he was at Southampton about Poch, and he said he works us like 2 sessions like dogs. We're training, running,
lovely,
and because what he wants people pressing, he wants people working hard for 90 minutes. But then on top of that, he adds the exciting football. It's good football to watch as well. So yeah. I think Poch is the man for Man United. He wants Man United. Man United have wanted him. It's that Man United starting that feeder club with Tottenham again.
It's gotta happen.
It's gonna happen. All right.
It's gotta happen.
All right.
It'll be lovely, man. It'll be lovely. I'm telling you, it'll be lovely.
It will be. Marie's loving the show. She wants to come back on. So I think we're going to have a more lighter side about Ralf Rangnick before the next game. Yeah, just to give Man United fans some hope. All right. Thank you everyone who joined us tonight. Before we go, let me answer a couple of questions. We've got a couple of questions in here. What are you saying? What's he saying?
They're a very good team, Ken. Dennis. They're a very, very good team. Yeah, you're right. They have some ballers. It's just more about the team kind of cohesiveness.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't even know what it is. When you watch them, you just think there's something not there about them. I don't know what it is. It's weird. But they do have amazing players.
Totally understand people's apprehension of Ralph's football and that. And it might not be 5-star football for 6 months, but he's going to go through the dressing room and sort that out. Sort that lot out. He will. I think that's what people were saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't doing.
He wasn't.
He made friends.
He wasn't dropping anybody, was he? Wan-Bissaka, and I'm not just picking on Wan-Bissaka because everybody's had shocking seasons. Wan-Bissaka has possibly had the worst game I ever saw any professional football have against Phil Foden. They were waxing lyrical about Phil Foden. Phil Foden was standing in 10 yards of space every single time. And I'm like, what's the manager said it to him at half time? Because even at like Sunday League level, you'd have been pulled off. They'd have said, get off. You're not doing it. And they put someone on who can actually mark Phil Foden. So I think Ollie, unfortunately, had his favourites. And it didn't matter how badly they played. That, like Maguire, as Nathan said, he's had a shocking season, yet he's still the first name on the team sheet. That is demoralising to any other player who's sitting there like Van der Beek thinking, hang on, these guys are shocking. Yeah, I can't even get a game. It's just like, well, how do you motivate the team if you're doing that? It's just madness.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally agree.
And I've been Champions League.
Yeah.
I've been playing Champions League, and I can't even get a game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's gone anyway. It's gone. So hopefully now we'll see those players who are superior in technical ability get into play.
All right.
And superior in other ways.
All right. Thank you for joining us tonight, people. That is all we have time for. Jam-packed in the comments section. We had Steve in there. We had Paul in there. Anthony's in there. The Lawman. Garth, as always. Connor trolling everyone. Ragnick's at the wheel. Fiore. Don't think I've seen you on here before. Smash that subscribe button, please.
New guy.
Smash that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Who else we got in here?
I think he has.
Callum's in here.
He said he's glad he found the channel.
There we go. Look at that. Glad he found the channel. Well, you have come just in time. Go and check back the videos with Emil Heskey, Rohan Ricketts. We had Frank Sinclair on last night. And we've got plenty more to come. All right. Thank you for joining us tonight, Hakeem.
Thank you very much for having me.
And, of course, thank you for joining us tonight, Nathan.
It's been a pleasure.
He's happy. All he's thinking about Marie's one. He's gonna replay Marie's bit at the start. That's what it is. He's gonna replay Marie's first 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. First 8 minutes was lovely.
All right.
It was lovely.
Thanks for joining us, people. Peace out. Stay safe and wash your hands.